everyone, it's Dr. Nio here. So hope this finds you well. For those of you who don't know me, just a quick moment to share a little bit about me. So I'm Dr. Nio Wills. Many call me Dr. Nio, and I'm a board certified internal medicine doctor, which means I treat adults. And I've almost exclusively been doing integrative and functional medicine for the last decade. And that for me is a holistic spirit, mind, body approach to supporting people and being well. And so what I wanted to take a moment to talk with you about today is how our thinking actually creates either wellness or illness in the body. And what I've seen over the decade is that stress is responsible for almost every physical imbalance or dis-ease in the body. And that if we start to become aware of our thinking and the patterns of thinking that we're having, we can actually shift our bodies back into a state of wellness or create even more wellness in our bodies. And so what I want to kind of touch on a little bit is that scientists have now found that 95 to 96% of our thinking and then subsequent behavior comes from our subconscious thinking, which means 95 to 96% of our thinking is on a loop, and we're constantly reliving the past and bringing it into our current experience, physically, mentally, every way that you can imagine. And why this is relevant for me to discuss with you today is that if we can start to shift that subconscious thinking that we're not aware of into more conscious, wellness-centered thinking, we can actually shift our bodies into wellness. And psychologists have proved this over the years. They've done experiments where they blindfold subjects, and they'll tell them in the first set of experiments, once they're blindfolded, they'll say, I'm going to touch you with a heated instrument, and that's all they tell them. And then they'll actually touch them with the tip of an eraser, and the person still develops a blister or burn. And that is because they are conditioned in their subconscious thinking, past thinking, that they're not aware of, that when they're touched with something, they're to be burned. And that's even if they never receive the physical stimulants. And then they've done on the other side, the experiment where they blindfold a person and they tell them that they're going to touch them with an eraser, and they actually touch them with a heated stimulus, and they don't develop a blister despite the fact that they were touched with something hot. And again, it just demonstrates how powerful our subconscious thinking is. So that means that 95 to 96% of what we're experiencing in our bodies and in our life and in our thoughts, it's not even presently what's going on. It's just old patterns of thinking that are being looped over and over again. So what I invite you to do is to actually take some time and actually start to plant some very conscious well thoughts. And it can be something very simple to start with, like I'm going to have a well winter. I am going to have perfect respiratory health. I am going to wake up energized every morning. And start placing that in your conscious thoughts in place of the thoughts you may not be aware of when you get up and you kind of say, oh, I'm tired. And if you start to actually change the patterns of thinking that your body is receiving, the body has to follow, because the psychologists have demonstrated, and it's been demonstrated in a lot of different ways, that energy follows thought. So if I create thoughts that are well thoughts, the body has to fall in line with that. So play around with that and look for more tips from me. So take care until I see you again, and be well.